Welcome everybody once again at the Automotive Sports Network, this time from my home track, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Located just miles from downtown Indianapolis, we're getting set to put on another great show in the NASA GT Americas presented by Spark. I'm Chad Irvine, and with me in the booth once again, as always, is Travis Seymour. Travis, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I enjoy this, man. This is a good track. Sometimes you take a left, and sometimes you just might take a right.
Yeah, running the opposite direction that we normally would see on the oval. Let's take a look at our track map. It's a 2.6 mile, 13-turn layout. It's more similar to the one that Formula One used back when they ran here in the early mid-2000s. A little difference coming down the Holman George Boulevard straightaway on the backstretch, but otherwise it's very similar. It's 13 turns, only 2 major passing zones, but moves can be made just about everywhere. The fun spot to watch really is going to be turn number 1. That's the hard right-hander coming off of the front stretch after you cross the yard of bricks. And they got that long straightaway to build up some speed. That includes turn 1 of the Indianapolis road or oval. I'm excited to see what we have in track. You know, we got another decent-sized field of drivers as they get set here during qualifying. We had go ahead, Travis.
I do like that the infographic we just showed told you which way we're running, because if it was you, you'd be running the opposite direction.
I'm used to doing that. I always go the wrong way, and that's when they normally have to pull me off the track. But taking a look at some on-track action, we do have some cars getting their qualifying warm-up laps in. That's taking a look right there at Ivan Pandev of Renovo Racing. He was the fastest in practice. Second quick was his teammate Sabian Ragster. Both of those two were a couple tenths up on third place Ray Kingsbury, the points leader so far. And all of these guys, really just grinding their hearts out. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, though, because the Porsches really do have a straightaway speed advantage over the Corvettes that the Kingsbury's and Spark team is running. So definitely looking forward to how all that plays out, as cars are already getting their taking the green for qualifying, and we're going to have some great action. As always, we will have the 15-minute sprint, followed, but after qualifying, we'll have the 15-minute sprint and then a 45-minute feature with the top 8 inversion for that one. Taking a look at the weather right now, it's a little chilly, but not as chilly as it actually is in Indianapolis. Right now, air temperature 70 degrees with a track temperature of 80. Humidity at 72%, and just barely, winds barely just hitting 2 miles an hour out of the southwest. So not too much of an impact from the wind compared to what we might normally see on a December day. Unfortunately, we can't actually set up, a snow race or snow and ice race here at Indianapolis, which would certainly be fun to watch. Travis, what's your favorite conditions to run in?
Oh, mine? Oh, jeez. I don't know, usually snowy or dirt. Those are usually my favorite conditions to run in. These guys are just going to hope that the sun kind of peeks out, warms that track up a little bit more for them. Right now it looks like the clouds are kind of covering, which will affect their traction coming around. A lot of these short, tight corners, the braking's going to be a little longer, as well as they're going to have to be a lot more ginger on their accelerations out of those corners. So I think that's what we're waiting to see here. Whether they'll get that sun, I don't know.
Yeah, and even if the sun does come out, it'll be interesting to see how much it is with the cloud cover that we do have. Conditions feel very similar to what we had for the 8 hours of Indianapolis GT race here earlier this year. But that was using the new track layout. The course record for GT cars on this track is actually set by Boris Said back in 2013. That was at the Brickyard GP that they ran during the Brickyard Super Weekend.
Wasn't he one of them failed NASCAR drivers too?
No, he was just one of those road course ringers.
I gotcha.
But we'd like to go ahead right now and take a minute to thank our sponsor, Our Designs, and Tim Brokaw for their contributions this season. They put together our spotter's guide that you might find on Twitter, as well as donating some prize skins for the Our Design Manufacturers Cup. There you see the cars out of track. That is the 25 of I'm sorry, 29 of Ray Kingsbury? No, 25 of Ray Kingsbury. I'm getting all my Spark cars mixed up. There's a look at Tim Brokaw's car. He's got some very classy designs. I mean, great use of mixing the colors and everything. I really love some of the stuff he's put out on Trading Paints. He's got about 3 or 4 designs up there as well. But a huge thanks to Tim for donating some prizes for the Manufacturers Cup, and it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out here with just 2 races left in the season.
Absolutely. Right now, I mean, he is sitting, the redesigned EGR team is sitting second in the driver standings here. Whether that's going to translate, I don't know. I mean, you've also got these Irvine Pandev and those guys. They're extremely fast here as well. It's really anybody's race. And I don't think we'll see anybody just run away with this one like we did last week and the week before.
Yeah, the interesting thing to note, by the way, is that we talked about it a little bit in our track map, but definitely the car differences here, because Ray Kingsbury in qualifying right now, he's only 6 1/1000ths off of Ivan Pandev for 3rd, but at the same time, all that's made up in the corners. I mean, he's going to lose a lot of time down the straightaway. But talking about Kingsbury and Ragster and Pandev and those Renovo guys, let's take a look at our point standings, where Ray Kingsbury sits on top with a 17-point lead over Josh Fogg. After some struggles last week for Renovo Racing, Savian Ragster and Ivan Pandev are 19 and 27 points back. Then Kingsbury Matt is in 5th. Michael Janney in 6th. Dan Mitchell is 7th. Ron Christians Jr., Josh Mertz, and Kamal Hashimi wrap up the top 10 for the Sim Racer Coin Drivers Championship.
We did get word that Mertz got the Bad Boy Award, and he's going to be out today.
And there's a look at your team championship standings presented by iDrive Sim. The Team Spark Virtual Racing leads the pack at 378 points for their team. Renovo Racing, 30 points back. Then R Design, the sponsor of today's race, 70 points back. Then Masterclass Performance Racing, Apex Tech Racing Meridian. Then Reflex Sim Racing, Stuttgart. Then Reflex Sim Racing, 7th. And then Spark Virtual Reality, 186 points back. And then iDrive Sim Training and MRT wraps up the top 10.
We're really going to have to start. This is becoming too common, but words are hard. I'm pretty sure we've had that in every single race so far.
When you talk as much as I do, you're bound to mess something up. And
I just wish you'd be quiet every once in a while.
I give you time to talk, and you never take it. But we've got just a couple minutes left in qualifying. Let's take a look at the standings right now. Ragster and Pandev 1 and 2. Ray Kingsbury just behind them. Then Michael Janney and Brandon Lambert wrapping up your top 5. As there we take a look at the number 37 of Kamal Hashimi. Currently 123.4, so not too terribly far behind, but it's good enough. As you see there, 16th position as it stands on the grid. He looks like he's wrapping up what should be his final lap out there.
Really looking forward to see some of these. I'm seeing Cody Cosgrove right now. He's a new driver, hasn't ran yet this season. And he was, if I remember correctly, he's sitting 12th so far in qualifying session. That's quite the beginning to a season, even though we're midway through it. But hey, you always got to start somewhere, and that's a really good start for a new racer.
There's another new driver that you're looking at right there, Justin Bren. He's currently just getting some times down. He's the last of anybody that has set the time, but it'll be interesting to see how he does in race trim. Because with the 2 different race formats, it'll be interesting to see how they play out once they get around other cars. There's Kyle Terrio, his teammate of Justin Brandon, that number 69 car. Down Cellar Racing. I really enjoy that name as I broadcast here from the cellar of my house.
They won't let you upstairs?
Oh, I usually just lock myself down here.
I wouldn't want to look at you either. No offense.
No, none taken. We can't all be born beautiful like our producer Victor.
That was the best suck up I've ever heard, sir.
Hey, he does a great job, and you can't deny that. Just look at these beautiful graphics.
They are beautiful, especially with the new camera angles tonight. Man, it's definitely taking it up a notch this week. And he didn't have to crunch till the last second before we started to stream the race. So that's always a plus.
Preparation makes everything better. There's a look at another one of the R Design cars. That is the number 13 of Josh Klog, I do believe. And he is out there setting some laps. Current fast time is 1:22.2. That's puts him just outside the top 5. He's in 6th place right now, 1/1000th of a second behind Brandon Lambert, who's in 5th. This is his last time
for his final lap. Well, fine, Noah. I don't want to say it anyway. You go for it.
I was gonna say that's his last time around, but it looks like he missed time. He didn't get that last lap completed in time.
Hate to see it.
Getting drivers gridded up for the 15-minute sprint race here. That's going to be about 11 laps, just depending on how everything stacks up. But definitely going to be fun to watch as drivers continue to get gridded up. What do you expect to see here in the first race of the night?
Thinking we're going to see some, especially with the current track conditions. The pavement's a little, like I said earlier there, the pavement's going to be a little cool. It's going to take a little longer to stop and accelerate. And you're going to end up seeing, I think, some people that just aren't anticipating these colder track temps end up in the back of some people or off track.
And take a look here at your qualifying results. Savian Ragster and Ivan Panda for Team Renova Racing taking the front row. Then Ray Kingsbury, Michael Janney, Brandon Lambert, Josh Klog 6th, Holland, then Matt Kingsbury 8th. Another Spark VR car right behind Matt Kingsbury is Marwin Mofta in 9th. And then Cody Erdman wrapping up your top 10. Ron Christians Jr. 11th, the name that we said a lot right there. Christians Jr. and Magnus Ogenhag and Kieran Forrest, they've been setting very similar pace all season long. We've had some interesting battles between those three, with Cody Cosgrove in the middle of that group, Stephen Lane, Jack Belton, Tim Brokaw 17th, Hashimi Fuellner, who currently leads the Hard Charger Award standings, and then Thomas Keene in 20th. 21st is Lee Tucker, then Don Day, Chris Pio, Dan Ench, another Spark VR entry there, then Diane Feldman for Team iDrive Sim, Steve Brown in 26th, then Justin Bren, Jacob Falcon, and then looks like Josh Mertz will not be taking the grid to at least for the sprint race, and then Tristan Hagenstein, and in 30th, and then 31st is Kyle Terrio.
So on the Hard Charger Award here, we got, obviously, as you mentioned, number 1 is EJ Fulner. Kyle Terrio is number 2, and Ray Kingsbury is number 3. However, I mean, it looks like as it sits right now, EJ Fulner pretty much has the Hard Charger Award and the money along with it pretty much locked down. It's gonna take some really big moves in the last few races for some people to catch him with 32 points. Kyle Terrio and Ray Kingsbury are both tied at 18, so there's quite the gap there for the Hard Charger Award. So at least he can come home, and no matter what, as long as he can get some spots, he can end up with some money at the end of the season.
Yeah, Ray Kingsbury really shooting himself in the foot, but in a good way. He's finishing too high up to actually take too many spots. He's won multiple sprint races and then taken the win in a couple different tracks this season, including I believe he won last week, as well as a couple weeks ago at Lime Rock Park as well.
Now, one of the other little stats we track here is the manufacturer's points. And right now as it sits, we have the Chevrolet at 211, the Ferrari at 203, the Porsche at 189, and the BMW at 187. We won't even bring up the Ford, which leads a points gap of 8 points between the top and bottom. But this track, I think the Porsche might be able to clean up some of that 22-point deficit they got.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the tracks to do it where they have such a straight line speed. advantage with such long straightaways here at Indianapolis as they make their way through turn 12 back up onto the oval portion of the circuit. If you're running an IndyCar or watching a road course race now, you'll see them take a hard right here and go down through an infield section, but instead they continue on through the oval on the old road course as they get set for the pace car to pull away. We are just moments from being green here at Indianapolis. Really trying to get the jump there is Ragster. Panda right there in line with them. And there is the green. We are underway, and they're 4 wide further back in the field.
It looks like some people didn't even start.
As there you see up the inside is Ray Kingsbury on Pandev. Is he able to get clear through turn 2? No, Pandev has the advantage there, but he's going to have the inside through turn number 3, and he's going to be able to get clear there. Then Ray Kingsbury right behind now Ragster. Michael Janney's dropped down to 5th. He's dropped down to 5th. He's lost 1 spot. Brandon Lambert lost a couple on the start as well.
Yeah, what a start that was. Yeah, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. So Cody Cosgrove starting in 12th on his first debut race, ends up dropping.
And that's a look at Magnus Ogenhagen, the 26 for LRL Racing. Something's happened to him. He's losing a ton of spots. There's something happened to him on the start. There's a look back up front. That is Ragster and Panda. And watch this as they pick up straightaway speed here. That's Kingsbury. He's been talking about it all week long, just how much that Corvette does not have that straight line speed compared to it. And you can see Ragster just putting on the gaps. He probably pulled out a 2 or 3 car length advantage compared to when they got onto the front stretch. But as they go down into turn 1, you'll see that Corvette of Ray Kingsbury just hard on the brakes and catch right back up and get all that distance back.
Well, you know they're going to have to wait for that track to warm up a little bit before any of the Chevrolet or the Porsche guys can really push it into the braking zones to catch up. You saw him catch quite a bit there on that entrance to the turn 1 off the straight. But I don't think he's maxed out yet. I think he's waiting to get a little more traction before he ends up really putting the boots to him, and that's all the way down the line. Them Ferraris just brake so well that they don't even need it.
On board there. Now we're looking out at down the Holman George Boulevard. There's Ragster and Kingsbury working their way down through what would now be turn 7 and 8, but in this it's turn 8 and 9. Now through the right-hander. That's a long sweeping corner as they get ready to go back up onto the oval once again. One thing to note, there's a look at the battle between Matt Kingsbury and Brandon Lambert. They're going through turn 12 right now. And this is I believe it's a Porsche and a BMW? Or Ferrari and a BMW, or Ferrari and a Corvette. I'm getting all my cars mixed up right now.
It's a Renault.
Where's the McLaren at?
Right? Come on now. So, but right now, I mean, this is quite we saw a lot of people on that start drop down. We saw a lot of people get lucky on that start. I mean, we got some teams and some racers that I didn't even think we'd see up in the front like this. I know Claude there, he kind of lost a few or gained 1 maybe. And he's going to be trying to fight and get back in there.
Look at this battle between Ron Christian Jr. and Cody Erdman. Cody Erdman in that 52 car. Yeah, he's right behind Ron Christian Jr. Christian took that spot going down the front straightaway. He's starting to pull away just a little bit here, but really, they've been all over each other throughout the first 6 corners of the course.
I'm going to say, I'm going to have to call you on that one. Pull away? What do you mean, sir?
I mean, he put another 2 car length on him.
Well, and then until the corners.
And then look at that 12 car Thomas Keene right behind them, ready to jump into things, jump into the fray if something happens as we go back up onto the front straightaway. Yep, and Josh Klog, yeah, he's off the pace just a little bit there. Maybe got a little loose go through turn 8. We'll take a look here in just a second. But yeah, something definitely happened. He was working his way up through the field, and now he's lost a ton of ground. And oh yeah, he just lost it in turn 8. And that's just a hard left-right, right-left combination of corners right there, and you can just get on the brakes a little too hard. And thankfully, not collecting anybody else and able to get things back going before any contact.
And again, that's kind of what I was predicting here. So far, it's actually a lot cleaner than I thought it was going to be. With the lower track temps, grip's a little less starting out, and until these guys have run, you know, probably 10 or better laps, it's not going to get any better.
And a fun gaggle of cars to take a look at real quick. Kamal Hashimi, Lee Tucker, Stephen Lang, Magnus Okenhog, and Tim Brokaw, and EJ Fuellner's right there as well. 6 cars, just nose to tail, and getting loose. There's EJ Fuellner, your hard charger winner, or leader so far through the season. Getting loose as they come back onto the Holman George Boulevard down the back straightaway. And he's going to get passed by Josh Klog once again. Klog just clipping the grass just a little bit there, but able to keep things going. He's got one position up, or one position back, and he's going to try to keep things going. He's got about a 5 or 6 car length deficit to Tim Brokaw, the next car in front of him.
He does run second in points, though. That's something to mention. Absolutely. There's definitely implications if he cannot pick it back up here and get into the top 10 at least. Top 8, I'm sorry for the inversion.
Yeah, you do as well get points for that sprint race as well. It's not as many as you'd get for the feature, but yeah, only the top 8, starting with 8, going backwards down to 1 based on your finish, and however many points you get is also where you start for the feature in that inversion. Picking off 1 car at a time is Tim Brokaw, just slowly but surely. Next car up in line is going to be Hashimi and Stephen Lane right in front of him.
I don't know, man. This has been a really clean race so far. Hopefully this doesn't... Ron Christians.
And Cody Erdman getting back by Ron Christians Jr. again. This battle is really fun to watch between them further up in the field as well. That's a look at the 45 of Ron Christians Jr. Now we're looking at the 46 car, Brandon Lambert. This is going to be for position between him and Kieran Forrest. Peeks up the inside. He is there. How is he going to do under braking, though? He's going to have to brake a little earlier. No, he gets it in deep, clips that curve, but is able to, almost lost it, able to keep control and gets the position there from Brandon Lambert. That was for 5th, or from Kieran Forrest. That is for 5th place.
Absolutely, and you know, Lambert was actually really fast in practice. He ended up in the end of practice was 4th. So maybe once this track grips up a little bit, we'll see him put the mustard back on. But right now he's right around where he was in practice. So I mean, maybe that's all he's got.
No changes to your top 3, but further back in the field, getting really racy is Matt Kingsbury. He was way loose out of turn 6, I believe, turn 5 or turn 6, onto Holman Boulevard, and yeah, just lost the back end a little bit. Able to keep things going, lost some distance to Brandon Lambert and Kieran Forrest, but he's going to catch right back up to him. Hopefully, get that battle even more intensified with 3 cars instead of 2.
First time we've seen that corner collect somebody with the back end slide now, and I don't think it's going to be the last.
Yeah, top 2 are Ragster and Kingsbury, then a 5-second gap out the back, and now we're taking a look at this battle between Josh Klog and Lee Tucker. It was such an interesting battle. You see the 32 there. That is Lee Tucker taking a very high line through oval turn 1, turn 13 on the road course. Normally you want to be in that 1st or 2nd groove, but he's taking all the banking, all 9 degrees of it, and trying to get a slingshot down the straightaway. They're side by side through turn 1, but that is going to be Josh Klog's position as he gets cleared through turn 2.
A beautiful pass. It does, however, look like these BMWs are starting to come on as the track rubber's in. They're starting to pick up a lot of spots here and there, you know, one at a time for every single one of them. I mean, that could change things.
Yeah, only 6 BMWs in today's field. The highest right now is that 13 car of Josh Klog. The up next highest is Tim Brokaw, just a couple spots back. He has to work his way up through the field because he's in that championship fight. He's got some work to do if he wants to catch back up.
Absolutely, yeah. Klog's 17 points to first on Ray Kingsbury, I believe it is. And, I mean, this is not going to do well. If he can't get in that inversion and get them extra points, I mean, sometimes we've seen it in other series where sometimes it's that one extra point that you could have gotten in the sprint race that'll put you over the top for that championship.
Yeah, that 1 point here, 1 point there could mean the difference. And what a move there! That is this is such an interesting battle. You saw, I believe that was Stephen Lane, or sorry, that was Josh Klog. Yeah, and both our design cars looking very similar, but making that move was Josh Klog, peeking to the inside down the front stretch, but not able to get the move done.
Yeah,
as they
well,
come onto the long. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, if I was Klog, I'd be throwing some baby oil on it, getting that arrow a little bit better, because he's there. He just needs that extra push.
He's peeking to the. Oh, and there's some contact as they came onto straightaway. That's the 32 right there, losing a ton of ground. That's Lee Tucker that got collected in that one.
Yeah, that is a bad mistake as we go to the replay. Just lost it. It looks like he just lost it coming out of that corner. He had the guys inside of him and just lost it.
Yeah, that was Tim Brokaw that was involved in that contact. And yeah, the 32 just got a little loose on exit, and Brokaw had nowhere to go. Brokaw does have some damage to his splitter, especially there on that on the right front side. Just bent down just a little bit. Looks like it might be scraping just a bit.
And he did it again.
32, yep. Lee Tucker lost it once again.
He got wide and out into the grass, and that was all she wrote.
Both dirty tires and possibly some of that damage from the contact coming into play right there. That's a look once again at the 13. And going deep, very deep into turn one was Tim Brokaw. He completely missed his braking point, but able to keep things rolling. Only losing one position to that on that one.
And this is where it becomes super important. Do you stop now and get that little bit of damage fixed, or you try to power in and keep your spots in hopes that you keep it on the track?
It's such a short race. We're under 3 minutes to go. I don't know. I don't think that you'd be. I think you'd lose way too much time coming into pit compared to staying out. As long as there's nothing wrong with the steering and you're still able to keep control of the car. There's a look out front. That's Rags to right with Kingsbury just about a second behind or so as they come across the line.
Get Janey back there. Janey is right on the bumper coming out of that corner. He wants third and he wants it bad.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one to watch here. There's about 2 laps to go. Right up the tailpipe of Ivan Pandev is Michael Janney. And this is going to be such a fun battle to watch as they go through turn number 3, going into this little hairpin.
And for Ivan, this is you can't lose it. He has dropped to 4th in the standings at 27 points gap. Every position for him counts, even in the sprint race. So if he loses this, it's going to put him down, and Michael Janney really needs it because he ended up in 6th after last week. So, I mean, he's fighting hard. Both of them are. One's got to keep it, one's got to take it.
Yeah, as we are basically at, they're going to be coming, I think, to the white flag this time by. We'll have to see. Yes, they are coming to the white flag as we speak. There is Savian Ragster going through the turn 1 of the oval, turn 13 here on this road course. A long sweeping corner. There is the white flag coming out. And he heads for turn number 1 with about a second lead, but looking back, oh my goodness, very defensive as Pandev. Janney gets along the outside.
Come on, Janney.
But under braking, is he going to go for the crossover move? He's back hard.
Might let him take it.
No. just very defensive. There was Panda the entire way down the straightaway. Didn't give any room to Jani as they go through turn number 4 and now through this hairpin.
In Jani's mind, he might be thinking, okay, he's playing defensive. I'm going to try and get him on the entrance to the straight.
And a little mistake there from Jani, locking up the brakes, having to stay out of the back of Pandev. They're onto Holman George Boulevard once again.
And he
Taking
is
a
just
look around the outside once again. He's not going to be able to get there. Maybe under braking. No.
You could not put a piece of paper half this time in between their bumpers. He is on it.
Such a fun battle to watch. They were less than half a tenth of a second, or actually just about half a tenth of a second last time across the line. Going through the last couple of corners here, it looks like it is going to be Pandev unless something miraculous happens, but
barring a deer walking across the course, right?
Exactly. Taking the checker flag is Savian Ragster, then Ray Kingsbury, Ivan Pandev, Michael Jani, Brandon Lambert looking to wrap up the top 5. He's got a lot of room out the back, and he gets that one done. Then Kieran Forrest. Josh Clogg, second place. He's going to come home, looks like 12th or 11th. He got the spot on Magnus Okenhog at the very end on that last lap. He finishes 11th, doesn't do him much good in terms of points, but it'll give him a spot on the inside line for the feature race.
And finishing in 19th.
Yeah, he did have some issues early in the race, did the 11th place finisher Josh Clogg. But here's a look at your top 10. That's Savian Ragster taking first place. And then Ray Kingsbury about 7/10 of a second behind. Ivan Pandev then 6 seconds, and then Michael Jani right behind him. Brandon Lambert, Kieran Forrest in 6th, then Cody Erdman, Matt Kingsbury, Ron Christians Jr. in 9th, and Thomas Keene wraps up the top 10. Josh Clogg 11th. That has big implications, that driver does, on playoff picture. Okenhaw and then Hashimi. And then Jack Belton, Derek Holland, and Stephen Lane is 16th. Tim Brokaw, Chris Pio, and then Marwin Mofta 19th, and Cody Cosgrove wraps up the top 20. Some beautiful shots of the pagoda here at Indianapolis, and what a race we saw. We've got 45 minutes still ahead of us.
So I was really impressed with that one. I don't know about you. That was one of, I believe, probably the second cleanest race we've seen this season. And boy, was it fun to watch. Tons of battles. And then, you know, when you're getting up in the top 5 and you still got battles going on across the finish line, just makes for a blast to watch.
Yeah, you mentioned how it was one of the cleaner races we've seen. Only one major incident with contact that we saw, at least. There might have been some on the start. They were 4 wide further back in the field. But overall, yeah, very clean race, very fun to watch. Definitely one of the easier, I don't want to say easier tracks on the circuit, but one of the less punishing tracks on the series in terms of, you know, if you make a mistake or what happens to your car in terms of contact. So that's very fortunate for it's very fortunate for the drivers here as we get ready to be joined by Savian Ragster. Savian, what a run you had there, winning by just about half a second, just over that to Ray Kingsbury. How'd you feel out there?
Oh, great. That was an awesome race. Yeah, I just had to stay nice and calm because I knew that the Ferrari is much faster on the straights than the Corvette. So I saw him getting close all through the last section, and I was like, just stay calm, just stay calm. But it was fine once I got to the straights.
Yeah, we really saw Ray last week take advantage of a mistake by Matt, his brother, who was leading at one point. What's your strategy in here in the feature now that you have to start further back in the pack?
Yeah, now that I'll be starting in 8th for the feature, it's just going to be, I'm going to do my best to stay ahead of Ray and just move through the pack quickly and hopefully just do the same thing I just did, just get out front and maintain a nice lead.
You're able to pick up 1 point there, or 1 point more than Ray did, and that's going to be huge in the championship standings, but you still got a long race ahead of you, and I just want to say best of luck to you, man.
Thank you very much.
David. Good run.
Thank you.
That was Savian Ragser, driver of the number 91 Ford team, Renovo Racing. Very grateful to have drivers join us all throughout this season. Definitely fun to watch him and all of these guys out here battle every single week.
This has big implications for the Drivers' Championship. It really does. We could see, everybody could see there that, you know, we had some faster drivers than others, but all in all, when you get up into them top two that are just running away with the race, the actual vehicle makes a big difference. That vet, well, you could tell, was just so much slower on the straight. So barring getting ahead of them and being able to kind of play defensive on him on the straight, I mean, you really don't have a chance to catch him there.
Yeah, just from talking to the Kingsburys and that Spark team before the race started, Ray was talking about, you know, he felt like he was about 20 miles an hour slower down the straightaway than the Porsches and the Ferraris. But, you know, overall, I mean, you know, he's probably exaggerating when he said 20 miles an hour, but at the same time, you can definitely tell that there's a huge speed difference when you're in the tow and you're losing distance.
Oh, absolutely. But, yeah, no, I definitely feel like that was a little bit of embellishment there.
Just about 2 minutes left here in this final practice. Drivers just kind of feeling out what their car is, shaking them down on a full fuel load. They have to put more fuel in it. It's going to probably change the suspension just enough. That's one thing also that'll be interesting to see. Just with so much more, you know, fuel, so much more weight, especially in these cars, where downforce and everything is such a big difference. Going to be fun to see, fun to watch, and we've got some fast cars having to work their way through traffic now because of that inversion.
But you also have to remember too, now that the track's a little rubbered in, the suspension change with the extra weight might not be that big of a deal as far as losing traction or control of your vehicle, but it may affect, well, I shouldn't say may, it will affect these drivers' times with that different suspension weight on it.
And just a couple of drivers turning time so far. Ray Kingsbury is the fastest at 122.3 in practice. That's not too far off of where he was under full fuel load. He ran a 122 in qualifying as well. So he's right there about 0.8 of a second or so between his fastest laps on a full fuel load and his fastest in qualifying on a small fuel load. So definitely not too much of a speed difference, especially for these top guys, depending on what their fuel's looking like.
Absolutely, and again, I come back to the fact that the track is now rubbered in a little bit, which kind of offsets the fact that we're on a little bit of a colder track today. Again, once you get that rubber laid down, you can kind of push it a little bit harder into your braking and your acceleration zones. So as long as you can maintain what you've been doing, these drivers should be fine for the most part.
Drivers starting to get gridded up. We will have a Kingsbury on the pole here, but it will not be Ray. It will be Matt on pole here for the 45-minute feature. Then Cody Erdman, Kieran Forrest, Brandon Lambert, Michael Janney inside of row number 5. Then Ivan Pandev, Ray Kingsbury, and Savian Ragser, the top 8 in that inversion. And then Ron Christians Jr. and Thomas Keane will wrap up your top 10. A little further back in the field as well, Josh Klog, we talked about him and his championship implications, starting 11th. Magnus Okenhog, he's been fun to watch so far in that group with Kamal Hashimi and Jack Belton, as well as Christian Jr., who is a little further up. Tim Brokaw in 17th, Chris Pio, Marwin Mafta starts 19th. That was the same spot he started the sprint race from, he started at 9th, actually. He lost 10 spots in that sprint race, so Marwin Mafta is 19th, and Cody Cosgrove wraps up the top 20. There's a look further down through the field with Dan Ensch in 21st, Dan Feldman to note in 24th, Lee Tucker, Jacob Falcon, and Don Day in 30th. And that wraps up the field here for the feature race, the R Design Grand Prix of Indianapolis.
Well, and what do you think, Chad, on some of these drivers starting up front here? I mean, there's actually this inversion has kind of helped, I think, a few of these drivers who actually have shown great pace throughout the year. Depending on the start and how it went, we saw them go 3, 4, 5 wide there at the beginning last time. Barring a lot of these drivers that were right out in front and pulling away last time, it might be a little bit more difficult this time around than we saw last week to really get around these drivers.
Yeah, only 3 Corvettes in the top 10, one of those being Matt on pole. Then you also have 4 Ferraris and 3 Porsches. Highest BMW is that number 13 of Josh Klog starting in 11th, but a good mix of manufacturers there up at the front of the field with the top 3 each Corvette, Ferrari, and then a Porsche. So definitely going to be fun to watch these guys as they get set for the 45-minute feature coming out onto Holman Boulevard.
I'm still upset we really haven't seen anything out of the Fords. I kind of wish I'd have run the GTE series now, because at least I could have won the what was there, $100 prize pool for the wrecking.
I mean, there was no doubt that you were going to win that, because I mean, if I at least wreck, I don't take anybody with me. So I'm so far behind the field that I'm irrelevant.
Hey, if I'm going down, I'm taking everybody with me.
Everybody does it their own way, man. I don't want to ruin anybody else's race. I've done that enough.
Figure if we're all wrecked, at least then we're all on the same pace when we get back on the track. Joking, of course.
There's a look up at your pole sitter there, the Spark Virtual Racing LLM car of Matt Kingsbury. They come through turn number 13. The pace car is set to go off. We will be racing here for 45 minutes from the racing capital of the world. And we are green. There is Matt Kingsbury on the inside, getting a decent jump. He's going to have the spot over Cody Erdman. Sweeping all the way to the outside. Is Erdman going to have the chance? No, under braking, it's going to be Kingsbury. And then Erdman, Forrest is going to be third, and then Brandon Lambert fourth. No major swaps in position so far through the top 5.
Just absolutely beautiful. Right on that start, you can see just how much of a disadvantage that's on the straightaway. They were just...
And Cody Erdman going onto Holman Boulevard, just losing it, going wide through turn number 7 into the grass. He's shuffled all the way back to about 10th place. Everybody that was behind him, really scrambling to get around him. Well, actually, that wasn't even on Holman Boulevard. That was through turn number 3.
So it was,
we haven't seen anybody lose it there yet so far.
Yeah. Ray is already up to 4th. I believe Victor just chimed in here. Yes, he is. Look at that. He is on the move along with, I believe, who is that? Is that
Pandev right there with
Pandev in front of him? Yes, yeah. Wow, yes, what a move those two just made.
Yeah, the train is still Pandev, Ray Kingsbury, and then Savian Ragster right behind them as well. And yeah, and there's Kieran Forrest in there as well. Something he must have gotten collected a little bit in that and lost some ground, because he dropped from 3rd all the way now down to 5th. So he's lost 2 spots, and here under braking is Ray Kingsbury. You see him just right on the bumper, gaining all that ground that he lost on the straightaway, getting it right back from Pandev. But out front, it is Matt Kingsbury, about half a second. Maybe it looks like it was a full second last time by the stripe. And then Pandev, Kingsbury, and Kieran Forrest. That's a look at the 25 of Ray Kingsbury. These cars, these Corvettes under braking are just so much later on the brakes. It's interesting that you don't see guys maybe try to make a move diving it down the outside, because they can just carry that momentum so much better.
You didn't see any of that in the sprint race, and I think there's a reason for it. I feel like they were waiting for this track to get rubbered in, get warmed up, get that traction down before they drop their brake biases to be able to dive it in like you were just talking about. So I think as the race goes on, we're going to see it more and more because obviously the more rubber, the more heat, the more traction you have under braking as well as accelerating. So
That's
It
a
could
look
turn
there.
in the bet's favor. I mean, to be honest with you.
Oh, and off track there. That is Tim Brokaw. Unfortunate for him, this is his race. He's got his name all over it there with our design, and oh, he looks like he was collected by, is that Marwan Mafta? Yes, it was.
It looks like he just got off. I think he collected Marwan. Unfortunately for both of them. It looks like he just kind of got outside on the grass there and
Oh, and
took a
then
turn.
yeah, Josh Clogg, he was up from 11th to 7th. He lost a bunch of spots right there. He went wide in turn number 2, spun back across the racetrack, able to keep things clean, able to collect it, but oh, and there's contact right up in front of him as well there. That's, I believe, that Pashmi.
We are seeing a lot of problems from some of our top contenders.
We are not even 5 minutes into this race, and we have interesting battles all over the track there. Clogg right behind Ron Christians Jr. now. Ivan Pandev and Ray Kingsbury still going at it. And that's for 3rd and 4th right there.
Oh yeah, isn't that part of the racer's code? Your win is only one mistake away.
I don't remember. Oh, the racer's code. I thought you were talking about the sporting code.
No, not the sporting code. No, the unwritten racer's code that your win is only one mess up away from you taking it or losing it. So.
Oh, I thought the racer's code was you can always win it in the first corner.
Oh, that is the best one. I love that one. That is not. No. Victor, sorry. Producer here is calling me out on my first corner tactics. If I move you, it's because you were too slow.
Well, that's an interesting way to do it. We are 5 minutes into this race, and we've got some interesting developments all over. Josh Clogg worked his way up to 7th. He got into that trouble last lap and dropped all the way back down to 10th. But he's right behind Cody Erdman and Kamal Hashimi here. And those two guys have been battling pretty hard as well. So he's definitely got some work to do, Clogg does, if he wants to hold that 2nd place that he currently is at in the point standings.
Okay.
He did, yeah, he actually did, yeah, as we hear from our producer, he did lose some ground there in the sprint race as well, not getting any points there. Team Renova Racing doing such a good job with finishing, 1st and 3rd, I believe. They did such a good job there in the sprint that they actually leapfrogged Clogg, and now it's Renova running 2 and 3 in the Drivers' Championship.
To backtrack a little bit here, Daddy-O Rocks inside the one of our chats here for YouTube, he said, I don't wreck people, I dramatically alter their aerodynamics, and that is a race winner right there, every time.
There you go, that's a way to do it. Well, I was just, slowing you down by taking off your wing. There you go.
That's right, Ain't nothing wrong with that, he didn't need it. We have a beautiful battle here between Hashmi and Erdman. Absolutely. These guys are really going hard for this.
It's going to be Erdman peeking to the outside, and that leaving the door open there for Josh Clogg, almost chopping his nose off. And he's really not happy about that one. Josh Clogg is all over the back over there, Cody Erdman.
He did get a little loose. It did cost him a couple tenths there, but
very
he's coming
aggressive.
back on him.
Very aggressive from Josh Clogg. Definitely interesting to watch these cars just battle it out every single corner.
Well, and again, I almost wonder if Clogg is pushing it just a touch too hard here. He's still sitting 10th. We have a lot of race to go, and he is number 2 in the driver standings. If he loses it again, the 20th is going to really push him down. So, do you really push this hard this early or not?
Yeah, it's such a tight battle up at the front of the pack in the driver's standings. Certainly interesting to see that develop as we did, as we mentioned a minute ago, have some changes just after the sprint race alone. And going in too deep there was Erdman Hashmi. Thought about peeking around the outside in turn number 2. Cannot get it done. So it's still Erdman, Hashmi, and then Clogg in this 3-car battle we're seeing. Oh, that was one of the Renova racing cars that just went by. That was Ivan Pandev. He was running third. He went wide, and I didn't see any damage to his car. Let's take a look what happened. Yeah, this was a replay. Up the inside of Lambert and just door dings him.
He took Lambert with him too. Lambert obviously lost a few of those spots too.
And I think we would have had to charge for that camera if he ended up taking it out, because that was a very close call. Those things are very expensive. We'll send him the bill. He might send us one for the damage that the camera does to him.
Well, he's just going to send it over to Renovo Racing anyway, so maybe Renovo can cut us a check, right?
I mean, that's what sponsors are for, so. And all that that's going to do is make the battle for the lead even more interesting. So Ray Kingsbury now all the way up to second. He's your points leader, and now he's gone from 7th to 2nd. Car right behind him, Savvy and Ragster. And wow, just what great battles we have all over this track. Unfortunate that there was some contact there for Pandev, but man, these guys are just really keeping things going here, running strong.
This is, again, it's been a very clean race. I think the added width of this whole track has really been helping everyone to stay clean. It gives you a little more room to move. And but yeah, what I've seen a lot of is people chopping the noses off of other people's cars, and everybody's just been very considerate of each other when they're being mean to each other.
Yeah, it looks like Cody Erdman got around Brandon Lambert for 6th. Lambert now under pressure from Josh Klog. We've been watching these guys all throughout the race, and we're only 10 minutes in. Just really, lap time is matching every single lap. Swapping here, swapping there. Someone gives a spot right back. Someone makes a mistake. So much fun to watch these guys race in and race out. It seems like every week we're talking about at least one or two of them.
Now, Chad, where did Cody Cosgrove start? Because right now, one of our newest drivers to the series, first race ever, he's made it back up to 12th.
Yeah, he started 20th here in the feature, worked his way all the way back up. So it looks like EJ Fuellner, your hard charger leader so far, he went off track and he
just locked it up or something.
Yeah, he could definitely lose spots. He's gone from 22nd where he started to 24th. He was in prime position to pick up spots, and unfortunately with that, he drops even further back in the back. He's at least 24th right now.
I don't know. I almost want to say it right now. Cody Cosgrove, EJ Fuellner, watch out for your hard charger award here, buddy.
No, he's got a lot of ground to make up there.
Well, I mean, we can always, I'm an underdog kind of guy. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. But he's showing good pace today to come back and, definitely throw his hat into the ring for that money.
I don't know if it's just me, Travis. I'm getting some flashbacks to last week there where the Kingsburys were running 1 and 2. It was Matt up front for the longest time. But eventually, Ray was able to gain some ground. Making a mistake there was at the end at Sonoma was Matt, and Ray jumped all over it and took the win last week.
We do have this 4-car battle going on right here. It looks like we got Erdman. I'm not sure if we get around him.
That's Erdman and Forrest right there side by side. Then Lambert and then Klog. They're 2 by 2 as they go into turn 1, and both Erdman and Klog able to pick up one spot there.
A battle, that's beautiful. I don't expect that to go unanswered though. I think they're definitely going to come back on him here.
Erdman's got about 4 or 5 car lengths now to the car behind, and that battle in the middle there, that is Lambert and Josh Klog, I believe. Yes, that's Lambert, the front car, and Josh Klog, the BMW right behind.
It's looking like Lambert's going, please let me by. I just want to get by. I need to catch him, please. Yeah, he was running third.
Yeah, he was way up there in the field, but unfortunately, he looks like he's almost in contact there between him and Klog. Klog gets by cleanly, though, and he sets his sights then on Erdman.
And that's what he needed. He just needs to get out in front, and he knows it. If he lets Erdman get too far out, it's going to take too many laps to catch him back up. if at all, or a mistake possibly from Erdman to catch back up.
Yeah, Kieran Forrest looks like he's going to lose 2 spots on this lap, and he's got Brandon Lambert breathing right down his neck as well. Very defensive there is Josh Klog. But he gets it back under braking. Look at that. He was Kieran Forrest was almost cleared by the time they got to the braking zone. Inside, Josh Klog really just was late on the brakes, able to keep it squeaky clean, and he gets the run through turn number 2 and 3 as well.
Now, just because my system is messed up today, is that Sabian behind Ray Kingsbury there?
That is.
That is Pandev. I'm sorry. That is Pandev. Boy, what a race those two are having between each other. As they get, Ray looks like he got into the side of one of them Porsches there. I'm sorry, I don't know who that is. That's my bad. Yeah,
That's
come on, Kieran Forrest.
Yeah, the Kingsburys are way up front. They are clean with Ragster as well. But yeah, that's Pandev further back in the pack. And very racy here is Pandev. I mentioned earlier that gap between first and second was about 2 seconds. Ray has cut it all the way down to 8/10 last time by the stripe. Now down to 3/10. Oh my goodness, it is just closing and closing.
And
Oh, there it is for the lead in turn number 1. Ray out of nowhere. I said it was 3/10. Now he's got the lead and he's starting to pull away.
We're going to watch a replay of that one because that was beautiful. It was, wow, what a late break. That was very dangerous. That could have ended badly.
Yeah, such a long straight. Your exit coming onto it is so important. And just getting the run, you can see him gaining, and just as they get to the braking zone, just sends it right on by, just dive bombing his own teammate and twin brother as well.
That is that was textbook passing, but that was also really dangerous. That was if you can't stop in time, where are you heading? Right to that grass over there.
Let's look further back in the field there. This Erdman-Klog battle is heating up once again. Klog sending it down the inside of Cody Erdman. Gets the job done through turn number 8. Now he's clear, and he's trying to just work his way back up. They've got about a 7-second gap to 4th place with Michael Janney. So I wouldn't say it's out of reach yet, but wow, look at this. Like, the battle for the lead is just going to tighten up once again with the slipstream. We'll have to see if Matt can get the lead back.
Telling you right now, I'm just this whole race has thrown me for a loop. I'm just right now crossing things off on my notepad because none of it even matters at this point. This race has thrown everything up in the air as far as expectations on points and where everybody's going. And boy, it's a fun race, but wow, there's some really fast people that we didn't expect to be fast or didn't expect to see up where they are. And look at this. This is crazy. Erdman is gone.
What a battle that we've been watching with him, and he just gets in too deep, locks up the brakes, the back end gets around, and unfortunately he's not able to collect it. But now we're going to have to see him deal with even more traffic. Yeah, and you can see Pandev there squirrely all over the track. Something must have happened to him. He's down. He was in, I believe, 9th. Now he's all the way down to 15th. And you know what? Looking at my bingo card for tonight's race, I didn't have a Kingsbury battle for the lead. I didn't have Pandev having issues, but I did definitely have some really exciting racing on there. So I'm really close to a bingo. All that I need is a Ray Kingsbury win.
I have my bingo on the Sabian Ragster upset. As he's still sitting in 3rd, it is a shame to see Irvine fall down so far because both of the Renovo guys were just running so fast all of the sprint race. It's really a shame to see some damage or a potential issue on Irvine to take him out of the contention here. I was expecting at least a 1, 2, 3, 4 battle at the end of this race.
That's about there between Speedway and Kieran Forrest, and man, they've been duking it out. Cody
Cosgrove in that red Corvette. That's when I keep watching. I tell you, it's his first race in the series, and look at the moves he's been making. I'm telling you, I'm going to call this one now. I'm going to put it on my bingo card. He's coming in for the Hard Charger Award.
By the way, that number 44 there of Kieran Forrest, he actually had contact with Ivan Pandev, and that's what sent Pandev out into the gravel in turn number 3. I just went back and looked at that, and wow, what a development that is. Just that 44 car doesn't look like he has too much front-end damage, but unfortunate that he was in contact there with one of the points leaders of Pandev, sending him all the way back to 15th now. Yeah, that's really going to hurt his championship hopes, if not completely dash them. We'll have to see here at the end of the race. Definitely not helping his case for sure, especially as the oh, and Kingsbury involved in contact there. Wow. I'll have to take a look at the replay. They're side by side. It looks like Kingsbury just lost it. They're trying to get trying to hold off Ragster, and then Jandy gets collected in that as well.
As I said, don't write off the Ragster yet. I think he still has a good chance to get this. The Ferraris have shown they're much faster on that straight. And as the track rubbers up, it looks like the braking isn't even so much an advantage on the vets on this track.
Yeah, I don't expect him to make up much time on this lap just because of that little bit of contact that might have been with Matt Kingsbury. But the last gap at the line was 1.8 seconds between Ray Kingsbury and Savian Ragster. So now it's at 2.5 is what we're being told by our producer, Victor. Appreciate all that you do, sir. You do a lot for this series. You put a lot of hard work into it. Just say
he's not upping your paycheck. He's not upping your paycheck. Knock it off.
He's not the one that pays me. Wait, you guys are getting paid?
Shh, crap, he's on to me.
There's Clog and Kingsbury side by side. They were 3 wide for a second there. Kingsbury just trying to hold him off. They're turn number 2. It's still Kingsbury, then Clog fighting back on the inside. He's going to have the inside once again. But no, Kingsbury very late on the brake. That Corvette is so late on the brakes there in turn 4. Still got the inside. His nose is still there. He's still there. They're side by side now coming through the hairpin.
And this is just one of those give and takes here. You give one the outside, you give one the inside, and a little close there, but looks like it's going to come down to a straightaway run here.
This is the perfect example of a drag race. You can see as they get to the end of the straightaway, that BMW did have a little more speed, but not enough to get cleared of Matt Kingsbury, and Kingsbury holds the position for now.
Yep, I'm tearing up my pages right now. I don't know what the heck is going to happen in this race anymore. I give up. Anybody else want to commentate from the spectators? Because we don't know.
This is the best battle, at least here in the top 5. 2.5 seconds between first and second, then 6 seconds, and they're side by side down the front straight. As we talked about that speed difference, I mean, even with the slipstream, you can see there Matt Kingsbury just dropping. Here, once they get to the braking zone coming up, closes the gap right up, right there, right back on his bumper. And really taking a defensive line as Clog. Oh, wait a minute, is the door open? Oh, and Matt has to lock up the brakes. I mean, his nose was there. It was definitely a very ambitious move. I think that he was expecting a little more room from Clog. Clog was not expecting it, and we're going to have to see Matt try to set up that pass once again.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was on mute this whole time. That was my bad. Somebody yell at Victor for me. I was just sitting here talking to myself about how Cody Cosgrove is now in the top 10. He has made it to 9th from 20th. What a race by Cody Cosgrove. 11 spots gained. That's quite the impressive run here. I'm telling you, I'm putting my, should I go buy a lotto ticket tonight? I kind of feel like maybe I should.
Actually, it looks like he's going to be up to 8th possibly now. It looks like he's got around Kieran Forrest in the 44.
Absolutely, that's 12. That's 12. I'll correct myself. Long as he can keep it clean like he's been doing and just run this race. I mean,
let's not speak too soon. They're about to be 3 wide down the front stretch.
Oh!
They thought about it. Cody, Cody Erdman definitely thought about it. That would have been a Cody sandwich with Forrest in the middle.
Oh man, wow. I think he said no, maybe not. That's not a good way to go about this today.
That's just another very ambitious move that we've seen in the last 30 seconds. But man, what great racing we're watching here.
Well, we are about halfway through the race, so yeah, this is a close 5-car race right here. Everybody's in contention for the spots, and it's just going to come down to, I mean, really, if as we see, nobody's scared to go 3 wide, so somebody's going to send it eventually.
Yep, beating up the inside is Cody Cosgrove on Forrest, trying to get that spot back. Yeah, those 5 cars right there, that is Cody Cosgrove, Kieran Forrest, Erdman, Lambert, and Derek Holland, the last car in that train, and they've been battling hard for the last couple laps here. Definitely the most fun battle to watch on track. They are well off. They are about 25 seconds behind the leaders, though. But definitely a lot of fun to watch in these cars. They've just swapping positions left and right all over this racetrack.
Absolutely. Cosgrove made it back up to 8th. I mean, there's some little battles going on up front, but I mean, the majority of it is down here as Erdman goes 3 wide on the straight for the inside.
Wow. 3
and
wide
takes
up the
it.
inside.
The Chase Briscoe move. We did it in the Xfinity race here, apparently, as Victor Valley, our resident statistician and history expert on motor racing, has just told me.
Can we get a Donald Davidson to jump in the broadcast here? I would love to hear some random Indianapolis road course facts.
Right?
Definitely, though, the Xfinity race has been fun to watch as it's been on the road course. I think it was last 2 years? Oh, just this year, that's right. Next year, though, we're going to have the, it's not even the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series, just the Cup Series now. That's going to be on the road course, and I'm excited for that one. Definitely looking forward to a lot more road courses. It's going to get me maybe back into NASCAR again. We'll have to see.
It's going to take a little bit more. I've got too much on my plate this year for more NASCAR, I think.
No Bristol dirt?
No, maybe Bristol dirt. Come on now, you don't tempt me with that dirt, bro.
Do we need to get a NASCAR rallycross?
Oh, that would be amazing. I've actually tried it. It's horrible.
Yeah, we'll just turn damage off. It'll be fine.
There
Looks
you
like
go.
this battle, though, is stretching out just a little bit. It's Erdman and Forrest pulling themselves away, and then a little 3-car break for Cosgrove, Lambert, and Holland. But still, all 5 cars within about half a second of one another. So they're battling real hard out here. But Erdman right on the back of Kieran Forrest as they go through turn number 4.
Those drivers, he's just had a lot of bad luck tonight and a lot of overdriving. You know, a lot of these things that he's done to himself too. So he's still trying to fight for it, but you'd hate to see it again. But one of those overdrive attempts, it's either going to work or you're going to end off again. So hopefully he kind of calms it down a little bit and waits for his right time like he did with that 3 wide move. That was beautiful.
Yeah, we talked about Josh Clogg, who started 11th. He's all the way up to 4th. And he's about 4 seconds behind Michael Janney, the next car in front of him for position. So definitely is going to be interesting to see what he does. There's a battle a little further back in the field. Yeah, that's the 903 there of Tim Brokaw. Definitely want to get him out there. We appreciate you sponsoring this race, Tim. Our design does some great work. Just check out that beautiful race car.
You there, Chad? Because it's looking like Kingsbury is going through the middle. And you're missing it, and it's really ruining my race, okay? I come in here to listen to you talk, not you listen to me talk. Can you get this right, please?
It's funny because I remember earlier in the show you were telling me I needed to talk less. But anyway, Oh, there's a little loose there was Kingsbury. The back end stepping out just a little bit out of turn number 8, but able to collect it and keep things rolling. Hopefully that doesn't scrub off too much speed, because this long straightaway is very aero dependent and very important to get a good exit there. And also, Seymour is going to have a slipstream of a couple of cars here, as that was the last couple cars that we were just talking about there between Brokaw and Magnus.
Really tell that who is it, Ray in first right now? That he is, wow, and there he goes. There goes Savian. But Ray was trying to keep a lot of people in between him, and there was just nobody there. There was nobody there to keep him at bay anymore.
Yeah, there were a couple of cars there, but they've got a little bit of a gap to the next lap traffic. And the one thing that I really want to applaud drivers in this series for, they've been doing a really good job the last couple races, just letting the leaders race and not getting involved in their battles. And we saw, Matt and Ray Kingsbury in their battle last week. Lap traffic was there left and right, but they were getting out of the way, and it didn't impact the battle or the pass for the lead in any way. So definitely applaud to all the drivers in the series. But yeah,
there was a few times though, Chad. You do have to. There was a few times, and this is kind of just how the cookie crumbles. If you end up the lap traffic in front of somebody, say in the middle of an S curve, there's no getting out of the way. At that point, you have to slow them down a little bit, because you're already running the line through that. A lot of these guys know if they have a little bit of a straightaway or a long corner, they can get out of the way. And we've seen that collect a few of the top drivers where they just come at them at the wrong time on a nice tight corner, and they just can't get out of the way.
Definitely, there's always those opportunities for, leaders get maybe a little too ambitious and can't get the move done. And off track just in front of the leaders. Oh, and now spinning. Oh, that could have been very dangerous there. That was
close.
That was Magnus Okenhog. Thankfully, I don't know how much Ray had to lift for that one, but thankfully, it was far enough ahead he could see the spin coming and was able to avoid it. But definitely interesting to watch that spin as well, just because he kind of lost it on the left side of the track, came all the way spinning back across the right. But Ray keeps things out of trouble. He's done a great job of that all season. Now he is starting to feel maybe a little bit of the pressure, at least from Savian Ragster.
Absolutely, as we're coming up to about, 15, 16 laps left in this race?
11.
Wow, 11. Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. My math is not so good.
That's all right. We're under 15 minutes to go, and that's what's really important here. Time's starting to wind down.
But yeah, absolutely. As we're coming across here to the 10 lap mark here, you're gonna see everybody's really start pushing out. Everyone's gonna want them points. Whether it's for the race lead or just that extra point from 15th to 14th. You're going to start seeing people do some dives, some pushing, and possibly some wrecking here towards the end.
Yeah, it looks like Cody Irvine had some issues. We were talking about him in that 5-car train. He's now in the pits. He's getting some repairs. And that's unfortunate, because he was such a fun car to watch in this battle that we're looking at right here.
5-car train coming through, a little bit of a gap there breaking up over them corners, but I mean, all in all, at least you got your 3 cars here, and it looks like they might be pulling away a little bit, but each of those guys wants to... Ooh, Ivan Pandev again with a little either a slowdown maybe, or a little got off the track a little bit.
And he lost, it looks like 3 spots there, now 3 wide there through the hairpin, and oh my goodness, I don't know what is starting to happen. The cars are starting to fall apart all over the place. Pandev lost 3 spots. He gets 1 back, but
he is not having a good feature race this evening. Unfortunately for Ivan, I mean, he was really running fast this whole race, and now he's just kind of, with these mistakes and accidents and everything else that's been happening to him, he's fallen out of it. At this point, I don't think he's coming back.
Yeah, the battle for the lead at the line was 1.4 seconds, but more entertaining, more importantly right now, a little further back in the field is this battle here. This is, I just lost it. Is that Kieran Forrest, Brandon Lambert, and Derek Holland. As it's going to be Lambert peeking to the inside here into turn number 1. Clear under braking. Does he get in too deep? Barely able to keep it off the curve, but he does open up the inside of turn number 3. No, it's going to still is Lambert then Forrest there. But right on the back of both of them is Derek Holland in that 80 car.
And he's looking for that option to peak. He's waiting for it. He's being very patient, and it may come.
He's definitely able to inside linebacker through that hairpin compared to Kieran Forrest right in front of him. So he's gains a little bit of time there, but then on exit he loses it right back. So definitely these three have been very fun to watch throughout this race.
Chad, did you catch what happened to Cosgrove as he fell from 9th to 12th?
Well,
that's kind of an interesting development.
All these cars were kind of running right together, at least at one point. I think that Cosgrove got a little loose and dropped back, but he's still up 8 spots from where he started. So he's still doing a great job working his way up through the field.
But you hate to see it. You hate to see you get in that top 10, and then you end up going home and kicking yourself in the head like, I shouldn't have done that.
Look at this gap that Lambert has pulled on Forrest, and then side by side down the straightaway are Forrest and Holland going into turn number 1.
And from what we've seen, Forrest has just been a little bit faster, but kind of Holland has been kind of keeping him up here a little bit faster in the corners than he has coming out of. Sorry. Wow, I'm out of it. Words are hard tonight. Words are hard.
Now you know how I feel, but yeah.
That's okay. I'll give you this one. You win.
That's all right. Holland gets around Forrest, and now he's still got to deal with that pressure from behind. They've definitely lost a little bit of time to Lambert, who was right in front of them for the last 5 or 6 laps. Because those three were battling real hard. Lambert, though, can't tell if that's Stephen Lane that's directly in front of him. It is. That is going to be 4th position right in front of them as well. So a 10-second gap, though, between 5th and 6th. That's Kamal Hashmi in 6th. Then right behind him is going to be that Stephen Lane and Brandon Lambert battles. They come down through the final corner onto the front straightaway.
Wow. Just wow tonight, man. All these racers.
Very defensive line from Stephen Lane, but Brandon Lambert just going to send it there anyway. Under brake. He's got a very tight corner. He's very far up the inside on entry, but he's able to keep it clean, gets the move done, and pulls in front.
Now, do you think that's the thing, that the braking power is better on them Ferraris versus the Porsches? So while the Porsche may have a little bit better top end on the straights, that these Ferraris brake a little bit better? I'm not sure. I've never driven one, so.
I'd say the only one of these cars that I've actually driven in the GTE class has been the BMW, and it's a ton of fun to drive that car. That's all I really have to say. I drove it in the 24 hours of Le Mans, and whew, that was a fun one. Under 9 minutes now to go in this race, about 5 laps or so. Ray Kingsbury still out front. Last time at the stripe it was 1.6 seconds. They are well clear of 3rd place in Michael Janney, and then he's got about 4 seconds on Josh Klog.
Quite a few people here that, had things happen as, wow, somebody get a little loose there. Cosgrove getting a little loose there coming out of that corner. That was... hopefully he didn't take any damage or something, but yeah, it was kind of weird. The whole front end just started moving on him. Yeah, but there's a lot of people in this race that I thought were going to be up in the front here who are lapped down or running at the back of the pack now. This has been quite the interesting race, and it's going to be quite the point shakeup.
And that's panned by Mafta. That is for, I believe, 11th place, and every little bit of points will count, but it might be too little too late for Panda. We'll have to see how the final point standings shake out. Mafta, though, started to come back on the inside. And I believe, Mafta is in that BMW that we were just talking about. can be a little bit better on the brakes, but he does not, once again, have that straight line speed that the Ferraris of the Renova guys have.
So we do have Holland and Lane here for 8th. I mean, this is quite the battle here too. Both of them in the Porsche. It's just one of those, one driver's better somewhere than another driver is, and he gets ahead and then he catches back up on his spot. So it's going to be interesting to see who takes this spot from who.
Yeah, Porsche, BMW, same thing.
Oh, well, whatever. Yeah, aren't they made together? I'm joking, of course.
Looks like having the run, though, is Derek Holland. He's going to have a run up the outside. We'll have to see if he gets clear, though. He's slowly but surely gaining that ground at the line. It was barely Derek Holland, but will he get clear? What's going to happen under braking? Yeah, it's going to look like just Lane gives the position to him. Derek Holland's going to pick up the 8th spot.
Maybe get him later. As we got Ivan Pandev here, as he's coming back up the pack. He must have figured out whatever his issue was, because he's made some moves here in the last 10-15 laps to get somewhere close to the top 10, where he probably should have been this whole race.
Yeah, that battle up front, it was about 1.2. It's now up to 1.6, and we're about 4 to go as they just crossed the line to go. I think it's going to be about 4 to go, but it's going to definitely be interesting to see. There's that battle between Pandev and Mofta. That is for 11th. Kieran Forrest is quite a ways up the road, about 2 seconds ahead of these guys that are fighting for 11th and 12th. Just a little further back in the pack there, that is Jack Belton in the 17, Thomas Keane in the 12. Really, you know what? I think that's the team that you would want to be on there, Travis. Checkers or Wreckers for Thomas Keane?
Oh no, do they have a Wreck-It Ralph on their car?
It looks like they are using a very similar livery to the Team Spark cars.
Then nope, I don't want no part. If you can't see Wreck-It Ralph coming up to your bumper, I don't want no part of it.
I'm gonna have to make you a very special limited edition BMW Wreck-It Ralph car then.
I am down. You make it happen, I'll race it. Heck, I'll be the pace car one of these times. How about that? We'll see how many people I can take out on the pace lap.
Well, thankfully in iRacing, for all the drivers out there, if you are in the pace car, it is a drive-through. So I think it was might have been one of the Kingsburys that was driving inside of the pace car.
That was great. That was great.
Or no, I think that might have actually been Mertz. But anyway, back to racing.
It was Phil.
Oh, Phil Kraus. That's right.
Philip Kraus. That was Philip Kraus.
Battle for the lead under a second now, as we're under about 4 minutes to go.
Track is cooling down, and as we're seeing, it looks like it might give Savion a little bit of an advantage here as we come to just under 4 minutes to go. Those Ferraris, they kind of like the cooler track, to be 100% honest with you.
Yeah, track temp was about 80 to 82 degrees earlier in the race. Right now it's dropped all the way down to 76 degrees. Conditions have changed from partly cloudy to mostly cloudy as well. Just the huge cloud right now covering basically the entire track in shade as they approach turn number 13 and back onto the front straightaway. Last time at the line, the gap was 9/10 of a second. As they approach it this time, let's check the interval, and it's 8.87, so definitely coming down, but under braking here, gap is closing by a lot, but Ragster still too far back to even think about a move, and then Kingsbury going to put some distance on right here as well.
And just a little shout out to Victor. What beautiful camera angles you have worked out for this. I know it was a little difficult, but we appreciate your work, sir.
fortunately, with this being Victor's home track as well as mine, we know the ins and outs and where to get some great shots of cars driving around this place. It's always fun to see cars at this facility. I mean, you got the golf course up here on the left. You've got museums straight ahead. I mean, just some beautiful buildings, architecture. You got the incredible pagoda as well, but the gap is still closing and closing and closing.
As Rexter is now within 4/10. He's within 4/10.
Yeah. This
is on.
I think we saw the similar thing a couple races ago where Ray was in the lead at 2 to go here at the line, and it sounds like what it's going to be. I'm definitely going to expect Ray to be defensive here.
Oh, absolutely. You have to be defensive. Oh, as he gets the run around him.
He's just gonna whip it deep inside, and he's gonna have it cleared back quite a bit going into turn number 1.
Can he get back inside? No, he cannot. Wow, what a beautiful move by Savian.
Savian was loose there through turn 2, but able to collect it and does close the gap at least a little bit with Kingsbury, but Kingsbury with that straight line deficit, it's going to be interesting to see where he might be able to get that move done.
Can somebody get me a replay of that? That was beautiful. He baked him out so hard. He dove outside and then ran inside. Wow, what a beautiful pass. As we're going to go, we just got word from Victor, we're going to the replay on this one. This is beautiful.
Yeah, you can see the gap is about half of what it was last time they came down the front straightaway. And then, Savian just sets up and he's like, okay, I'm going to peek outside. Ray goes defensive. Faked it outside just a little bit, but it's going to be Ragster.
Better the second time. What a beautiful pass, Savian. You better put that one on the wall.
Coming now to the white flag. 1 lap to go here in the R Designs Grand Prix. Just such a fun race that we've had. We've had battles all throughout. We've had drivers climbing up the field. We've had guys falling through the field, unfortunately. But certainly still fun all throughout.
Tell you, Chad, I'm going to put this one as number 1 for this season. What a fun race this was.
Oh, no doubt about that one. We definitely had some interesting moments. We had some incidents up in the field at Laguna Seca. We had a late pass for the lead last week at Sonoma. Heck, even week 1 at Watkins Glen, we had some great racing. But this, all throughout the field, especially with that 5-car train, peeking up the outside. Thought about that line through the hairpin, but could not get far enough along to have the inside here through turn number 7. But Ragster, I mean, he's got to be feeling the pressure. He can't make a mistake.
Absolutely.
Hopefully these lapped cars do not get in the way. Maybe Ray's going to set him up, use him as a rolling pick.
Well, and I feel like Ray might be pushing a little too hard, a little too early. He needs
and he's up the inside. He's got the inside.
See, I called it.
Speed is going to be saving Ragster.
He's
pushed him out. To get clear. He definitely has the better run, but Ragster's going to have that straightaway speed side by side through the final corner.
Oh my God!
What is this going to be? Ragster just pulling up. Talk about the straightaway speed of these Ferraris, and that's going to be
where you see it.
To get it done.
Wow! What a finish!
What a fantastic race! It's Ragster and then Kingsbury. Janney looks like is going to come 3rd. Josh Clogg 4th, and Matt Kingsbury wraps up the top 5. But look at some beautiful donuts there. I mean, if you're craving some delicious pastries, Savian Ragster's making them right there at turn 4 of the oval. Oh, look at this coming back to line. We've been watching these guys. And that's going to be Derek Holland getting the move done in the final corner. That was for 8th place. Wow. Oh, Lambert
on the gas.
Oh
my God! What is
there?
going on
right now? Guys like to cut it close on fuel, but oh my goodness!
This is the 2nd week in a row. Second week in a row, we had somebody run out of gas. We need to make a championship point system for this.
Yeah, can we get a close out of fuel award? Oh, what a lovely kiss there between teammates. Oh, nope. Ragster's nope. What a great race, though. Oh my goodness. I mean, we had Renovo getting the win, but we still had two Spark virtual racing cars in the top 5 as well. So looks like nothing's really going to change there in the team championship. And Ray, it should hold on,
Renovo-
only dropping 2 points, I think.
Yeah, but Renovo, I mean, any closing of the gap that you can do is going to be big on Spark VR LLM. Right now they sit 30, so I mean, this is kind of big for them. It was a little bit of a shame that Yvonne couldn't keep up and had them issues early on, because they really could have put a dent in those negative points that they have.
Now let's take a look real quick at rundown of your standings. These are unofficial, of course, but Savian Ragster on top, and then 8/10 of a second behind Ray Kingsbury, Michael Janney, Clog, and then Matt Kingsbury 5th, Hashimi, Holland, Lambert, Forrest, and then Ivan Pandev able to recover from a couple of issues throughout the race. He was pretty far down in the field, but he's able to collect himself a top 10. Mafta in 11th, great run for him. He started 19th, worked his way up to 11th, and Stephen Lane, Cody Cosgrove finishes 13th. Christians Jr., Jack Belton, and Thomas Keene. That was a fun one to watch between those guys there at the end. And Brokaw, Magnus Okenhog, and Lee Tucker, followed by Chris Pio wrapping up your top 20.
I mean, I am just speechless, Chad. What a great race this was. It was a fight all the way to the end, and that's what I love to see.
And there you see Dan Inch after some technical difficulties, 21st, Fuellner, and then Diane Feldman in 23rd, Cody Erdman, Steve Brown, Kyle Terrio, Justin Bren. 28th was Tristan Hagenstein for his first race of the season here. Jacob Falcon, and then Don Day in 30th. So what fun to watch these guys as we're getting set to be joined by Michael Janney, driver of the 913 Porsche. Michael, what a great race you had there. A little far back from the leaders, but you still had a great run to finish 3rd.
Yeah, really awesome result. I'm really pleased with where I finished, I think. It was a little rough start, I'd say. Dropped back to, I think, 6th or 7th, but yeah, just kept it consistent. Came back up to 3rd.
Yeah, you started and finished the sprint race in 4th. You gridded then for the feature in 5th. You dropped down a couple spots, but worked your way up to 3rd. What's it like just working your way through traffic here?
It's a handful, especially in the first sector. A lot of the turns are very, very fast. So if there's any sort of contact in front of me, or someone loses it a little bit, or even just dealing with lap traffic, it's very difficult to predict where they're going to go in comparison to most racetracks because of that, I think.
Yeah, certainly really fun to watch. It's a historic track. Then we got Daytona next week. Are you all set for that one?
I'm going to put in a lot of practice for it, since it's the final. But with what I've seen the Porsche do in the straight line here, I am really looking forward to it, and I think there's going to be some really fun battles to end off the season.
Yeah, that
I
was
just
something.
want to say, Janie, you've showed great pace all season. It's got to feel really good to be up here on this track. You said, I believe we talked to you, maybe not in the stream, but we did talk to you at one point. You said you thought this was going to be your track to really make up some pace and some spots that you've been missing out on with that great pace you've been running. I mean, how did you feel about it?
Surprisingly, going into this week, I was very confident. However, after doing practice after practice, I was a little concerned, just because I didn't feel like I was on the pace. But obviously, I was a little over concerned about that because I definitely was on the pace, I believe. So it's given me more confidence for Daytona, considering it's another Roval. So yeah, honestly, I'm looking forward to it much more now than I was.
I have to say, this is probably the least Roval-like Roval, just because there's no banking here. But oh my goodness, what a fun race you guys put on. You guys definitely put on a show all throughout the field. There were some great battles. What's your thoughts just so far throughout the season on the competition we've seen?
I love it. I mean, the top, I'd say 10 are very competitive in any track we've been on so far. And I'm honestly, I'd say this track produced the most fun battles that I've had so far in the season, especially in the sprint race for me, because I was battling with Yvonne for pretty much the entire time, and he ended up holding it off at the end, but it was really close, and I think that's definitely one of the highlights of the season so far.
Yeah, congratulations, Michael, on another podium. Thanks for joining us.
Yep, thank you very much.
That was Michael Janney, the 913 of Masterclass Performance Racing. Now we're going to be looking.
Hold on. I
to
want the
talk-
first one for this. I
All
want
right.
the first one. How about that pass, Ray? How does that make you feel? What a pass by Savian on you for that
Oh
race
my
win.
goodness.
Yeah, we underfueled the car. We didn't expect to be running that fast in the feature with the temps going down, and we were running almost 10% more fuel burn per lap. So that was quite a lot. Yeah,
It's a
Yeah,
shame,
I mean,
I
but
think 8%
boy, what
more.
a good race you guys put on, Ray. That
Yeah,
was
so I
amazing.
ran out of fuel at the end when I
didn't
made that pass.
you also take a gallon out in final practice?
Well, yeah. So I discovered we were burning less fuel than I thought. Than my rough estimates, so I actually took some out. But then I was like looking at the numbers, and I'm like, let's be safe, and I added a little in. And it was like pretty much right on the nose, like perfect. Like we ran out in the oval, and we only saved for like a few laps. But I think if we didn't have that distraction of having to worry about the fuel for 20 laps, we probably would have. I waited it out as long as possible to save. We'll put it that way, because I thought maybe that with as the race went on, it would only be 32 laps, not 33. But as it got to the end there, it was pretty obvious it was going to be 33, and then I had to save big time.
This is the second week in a row that you've had to battle with your brother for the lead. What's it like? First of all, between you guys as brothers, but second of all, between two teammates.
It was not really much of a battle, to be honest with you.
It was a massacre.
We had different downforce packages in the car, and he was really intent on having more downforce in his car so he can go faster in the corners, and I was much more content with the straight line speed, because I knew that the Ferraris would just blow by us if I didn't have any. So obviously mine worked out better.
Talking to you throughout this week, we kind of discussed it over and over again. These Corvettes in the straight line, and how slow they were. But next week, another long straightaway after long straightaway track there at Daytona. What's going to be your thoughts, seeing how you guys were able to at least perform and get podiums here against the Porsche and the Ferrari?
Well, I mean, the car is fast. This track has a lot more corners than Daytona, so we're feeling a little better here. I'm hoping the bus stop will kind of break things up and give us a shot at Daytona. But yeah, I mean, we're just gonna go out there and we're gonna just rely on what our car's good at, and that's making moves in the corners, and we're gonna have to sacrifice a little for straightaway speed. But ultimately, I think we'll be strong pace wise. It's just, as you saw in the sprint race, I could get up to Savian, but unless he ran wide, I was not gonna pass him.
Do you think there's enough time to throw a Ferrari engine in that thing for next week?
Yeah, I don't know if it's the engine. I think the engine's plenty fine. Trust me, we're guzzling enough gas.
Yeah, you did a good job at least defending your points lead there in the Drivers' Championship. One more to go. The first night race of the season, the only night race of the season. Any expectations for next week?
Yeah, blinking lights. Lots of blinking lights.
You just have to cause as many distractions as you can.
I tried today, but it didn't work.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time to join us here in the booth. Congratulations on another podium, and best of luck next week.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. That's Ray Kingsbury, driver of the number 25 Spark Virtual Racing Corvette. And one final interview on the night. One final interview on the night. It's going to be the driver of the number 91 Renovo Ferrari of Savian Ragster. Savian, what a win you had today.
Yeah, that was madness. I can't even believe that I took the win today because like halfway through that race, the gap was really holding pretty stable between Ray and me. So I was like, there's no way that I'm going to get there, but I just had to be calm and just keep pushing.
I don't know if he told you about this there as you were waiting in the paddock, but he ran out of fuel at the end there. That's the entire reason. I mean, how does it make you feel knowing just you guys got the number right and you were able to get the win?
Nah, I don't believe that. I ran him down.
Sounds good to me, man. We've got another long straightaway track next week with Daytona, and you got about a 14-point or 16-point lead between you and Ray going into next week. What's your goal what do you think you have to do to get that championship?
It's going to be tough. I had some really unfortunate reliability issues last week at Sonoma. Had a mechanical failure where I couldn't shift gears and I was just stuck in second gear. So that was pretty tragic, but just keep working, keep cranking, keep working on our setups. Big thank you to my teammate Yvonne. He develops the setups for both of us, and we're just feeling really good. So just keep pushing.
Savian, 16 points separate you from Kingsbury for the championship. Is there anything that you are expecting or hoping for, planning on for next week to hopefully close that gap and get ahead?
I can't really say anything like that. I'm just gonna keep my head down and keep digging, just keep focusing and looking forward.
Yeah, we have to thank our sponsor, Sim Racer Coin, for sponsoring that Drivers' Championship. Winner of the series will get approximately $100 in Sim Racer Coin. What are you going to spend your money on if you take it?
Yeah, it would go right back into iRacing.
that was my first guess of what you were going to say. I mean, we got a bunch of new content coming out. I'm ready for a Coke Super Speedway. I mean, man, it's going to be a fun season coming up.
What the heck is this? Nobody wants to take me to Disney World?
Yeah.
Week after week, man, you really want to go to Disney World, but I think you're forgetting we're in the middle of a pandemic.
How about this? If I win next week, I'll take you to Disney World.
Thank you, baby. We'll see you next week.
I got you.
And Savian, I guess one final one for you there. We kind of talked about it with the Kingsburys. The difference in straightaway speed between the Corvette and the Ferrari. What were your thoughts on that? And you were really able to catch him down the straightaways. What are your thoughts on kind of the balance of power between the two?
Yeah, that was really tough because I know he's running a high downforce setup, so he was just all over me on the infield. You could see on that second to last lap, or the last lap. He was almost passing me around turn 6 on the outside. Yeah. So I really had nothing for him on the infield, but I was just able to just deal with the understeer in the draft and stick with him. And then once I got onto the straights, it was pretty easy to get around him. Actually, I could have gone around him on either side.
Yeah, your pass for the lead with 2 to go. I mean, my goodness, you were just in the toe, and he was just pulling you along. You shot it to the inside. What a move you had there for the lead and eventually the win.
Yeah, thank you. That was a good move.
Yeah, Savian, best of luck next week. It's been really fun to watch you and your Renovo teammate as well. Unfortunately, he didn't fare as well this week, but man, you guys have run a great season, and best of luck going forward.
Thank you, guys.
Yep, that's Savian Ragster, driver of the number 91 for Renovo Racing. Certainly been a fun one to watch, and we want to thank you for joining us tonight here on ASN TV. Check us out both on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, as well as Twitch. Coming down to the wire with just one more race to go. Make sure you tune in next week for the NASA GT Americas presented by Spark season finale. That's the Sim Racer Coin GP Championship night at the Daytona Road Course. For Travis Seymour, I'm Chad Irvine, and we want to thank our producer Victor Valley once again. And best of luck to our racers for one final race next week. Make sure you tune in same time, same place for more NASA GT action.